Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to the Scottish Premiership Final Day live, and it is the title decider. Who will be the champions of Scotland for 2026? Will it be Celtic or will it be Hearts? It is very rare that we see a situation like this where the two teams fighting for the title can both win it on the final day in a game in which they face each other. But that is the situation we find ourselves in, and it couldn't have ended any better than what we've seen in the past 37 games. It all comes down to this. Already this afternoon, along with us this afternoon, shall I say, kicking off at Falkirk and at Hibernian as well. Those 12:30 kickoffs on the final day elsewhere, but it's nothing as big as at Celtic Park, where Celtic take on Hearts, knowing a winner, whoever it may be today, will be the champions. Hearts only need a draw. Celtic, they know their job. Win, and you're the champions once again for the 5th time in a row and for the 56th time in the club's history. But it hasn't been that easy this season. Martin O'Neill's had a rescue job amongst some of the best in recent history, but now they sit just 1 point behind the league leaders heading into this final game of the season. Hearts know if they remain unbeaten in this game, as they've done all season against Celtic in the 3 previous meetings, they are the champions. But Celtic, on the final day at Celtic Park, which will be at fever pitch, is one hell of a tough task, and especially a Celtic side who've won all of their last 6 league games in a row, a formed team and a team who knows how to win trophies and titles. And that is what Hearts are up against today. A 4-decade record that stands in their way. And they'll be hoping to overcome that record this afternoon. So, after 37 games, it all comes down to this. A final day title decider at Celtic Park to decide the champions of Scotland. Hearts have led the way all season, defying the doubters and exceeding expectations and keeping the old firm at arm's length throughout. But the reigning champions don't give up that easily. Celtic have won now 7 in a row to see them just 1 win away from another Premiership title under Martin O'Neill. 1985 was the last year that anyone other than Celtic or Rangers were crowned champions of the land, but it is that 4-decade record about to end, or will Celtic claim a 5th title in a row here at Parkhead this afternoon? Today it is the visitors who lead by a point after a 3-0 win against Falkirk on Wednesday night, with Celtic maintaining the gap to the leaders after a late Kelechi Iheanacho penalty to snatch 3 points from Motherwell at Fir Park. It's the final day title decider between Celtic and Hearts. Well, let's have a look at the all-important team news for this one. Celtic unchanged from that win away at Motherwell on Wednesday night. Sinisalo starts in goal, a back 4 of Johnston, Trusty, Scales and Tierney. Captain Callum McGregor is in midfield alongside Arne Engels. Benjamin Negron in the 10. Yang and Tunekti, the wingers, and Dyson Maida, who's popped up with some crucial goals for Celtic in this run-in. He starts up front. On the bench, Doohan, Sarachi, Murray, Ralston, McCowan, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Forrest, Osmond and Iheanacho, the key man on Wednesday nights. Well, for Hearts, Shawolo starts in goal. Steinwender, Kingsley, Findlay and Milne are the back 4. Beningame, Devlin, Kizaridis and Altena are in midfield, with Kabore coming in for the Scottish Player of the Season, Claudio Braga, who drops to the bench, and Lawrence Shankland, who captains this Hearts team, hoping to lead his team to a 5th title in their history and a 1st since 1960. On the bench, Fulton, McCart, Birchikvink, Kent, Forrest, Nokov, Spittle, Kerjota and of course Claudio Braga. So, Two teams, one title, 90 minutes. Who will win it? We're going to find out. Kick-off at Celtic Park is on the way next. A very good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this Saturday lunchtime in what is set to be an absolutely incredible afternoon at Celtic Park. Whoever wins the title, it will be a magical day. Can Derek McInnes claim what will be a famous scalping of the Scottish top two to win the title, or will Celtic maintain their grasp at the top and say the title is ours and it's no one else's? That's the way it's been for quite a number of years, but Hearts have put the biggest scare up Celtic in quite a number of years. A Celtic side who haven't been anywhere near their best of their own admission this season. But what have they got in store this afternoon? They're already underway, and Cabore's gone down right away here for Hearts, so not any issue for the man who's come into the side for Claudio Braga. A little scuffle with Liam Scales there. Maybe was the incident, but he's up and okay. I expect this stadium to be noisy right the way throughout. And there's a chance here. Yang plays it in behind, ball across! It's scooped away and cleared away by Hearts, but an incredibly fast start from Celtic right from the off. The ball forced all the way back to Sinisalo. Well, that's the type of start that these Celtic fans want to see from their team. A team who've been, really at times, third in the battle for the title when Rangers were in the mix with Hearts. And then Celtic just snuck around, stayed in the battle until the final day, when it can be theirs, it's in their hands, win and you're the champions. They are waiting to find their first win of the season against Hearts on the final day of the season. Maida. Tonekti wide, just closed out well there, but he still presses for the ball, and Celtic really intense as Scales wins it back. He battles for the ball and wins an early corner. Lawrence Shanklin back doing a bit of defending there for Hearts right from the off, and Celtic have their first corner of the game. Well, it's a fast, fiery, feisty start from Martin O'Neill's team, and they've already got their first set piece of the match. Arne Engels to take on this left hand side. Engels swung him with the right foot. The header is over the crossbar by Austin Trusty. Already the energy inside Celtic Park is absolutely incredible. They know they can play a massive part in their team's title hopes today. This is not an easy place to come at any point in the season, but it certainly won't be today either. And there's a stat for you. Celtic have scored the joint most goals in the first 15 minutes of any Scottish Premiership side this season. They are fast starters, this Celtic team, and they've started very quickly already this afternoon. It's Trusty forced into a clearance header there out for a Hearts throw. James says good luck to both Hearts and Celtic. Graham says hopefully Hearts will win. Be good to see different team win it instead of Celtic and Rangers all the time. It's a very good point. It has been Celtic and Rangers who've exclusively held this title since 1985 when Sir Alex Ferguson's Aberdeen were the last team other than the two to win it. Pressure there on Sawallo. Maida with the press, but Hearts win the second ball. Shankland, nicely work between the lines here. Beningamy getting involved, and Shankland holding off a couple of markers. Now Devlin plays it across to the right hand side. Kizaridis just siphon it back, and Hearts trying to get some possession. Frantic start, long ball towards Cabore. Found a way past Trusty, but he's forced out wide here with Alistair Johnston, who gets a toe in. That's going to be a Hearts throw down the left hand side. Well, it's an interesting idea to bring Cabore in from Derek McInnes. It raised a few eyebrows in the fact that Claudio Braga has been the standout player in the Scottish Premiership this season. He's benched in what is a deciding game in the season. Milne to take this throw. Launched into the box. Flicked on at the front post and bounces around for Tierney to clear around the back. That's cleared out for a throw. Well, Lawrence Shanklin claiming there was a foul in the box there. Have to see a replay. Is there a pull on Shanklin by Liam Scales, is it? Have to see the replay of it. Yeah, he's maybe just stretching to get to the ball, Liam Scales. There's nothing really in that, in my opinion. Excuse me. Andy says, I'm a bit confused. Sorry, I'm a bit late. Is the league down to this game? Yes, so just to confirm, so Hearts are top of the table coming into this one with 80 points. Celtic start the day on 79. If Hearts remain unbeaten in this game, either a draw or a win for Hearts, they will be the winners. They will win the title. If Celtic win, they will win the title. So it's pretty clear cut. What could have been, if Celtic hadn't have won in midweek and drew, then it could have been much more complicated for Celtic. But it is quite simple. Win, and you're the champions for Celtic. Hearts, keep Celtic at bay as you've done all season, and you're the champions. Here is Yang. To Trusty. Nygren. Back to Austin Trusty across to Liam Scales. Scales drifting forward. Lays it out to the left for Tinecti, who's hugging the touchline. Feeds it back inside to his captain, Callum McGregor. Won 10 major honours as the Celtic captain. Wants to add another to that this afternoon. What could be a treble winning season for Celtic. Already claimed the League Cup. They've got the Scottish Cup in a few weeks against Dunfermline Athletic. But this is what they've been waiting for, desperate for all season. Tinecti here on the left hand side. We'll get an update from Falkirk Rangers in a moment because there's been a couple of goals there. Chance for Celtic in behind, ball across towards Maida. Headed behind for the corner. And it was Steinbender that time with the clearance. Celtic working the ball wide well and finding those inside runners on a couple of occasions so far. Arne Engels again over to take the corner. Tinecti's the short option. They're trying to make sure Devlin is a good distance away from the corner taker, which is the rules, of course. Engels to deliver. Swung him with the right foot. It's deep. It's too deep and over the top. And out for the goal kick to Hearts. Well, as I was going to tell you, there's been a couple of goals, quite a few goals, between Falkirk and Rangers in that other game. Of course, there's nothing on that tie. That game at the moment. Rangers are guaranteed third place and Falkirk are guaranteed sixth in the table. So there's no question about where they're going to finish. But it's already 2-1 to Rangers inside 7 minutes. Rangers cruised into a 2-goal lead inside 6 minutes. Yusuf Chermiti with 2 goals before Jack Butland has put into his own net to give Falkirk a goal back. So it's Falkirk 1, Rangers 2 there in that one. And goalless between Hibs and Motherwell. Andy says, what a game, amazing. The Brummie and me always roots for the historical underdog, and as a neutral, you like to see variety in more than 2 teams in a league. Of course, 100%. I completely agree. The fact that it has come down to the final. It's been quite a few years since that happened, but, you know, Celtic find themselves in a position they didn't think they would be in, and that's where the whole kind of drama of it comes from. Hearts have been the outstanding leaders all season. Milne with another throw in, cleared away at the front post by Alistair Johnston and nicked away by Yang, but he couldn't keep it. Stolen back here, swung deep by Milne. Far too deep though to test anybody in the box, and that's behind for a goal kick. He didn't have the cutting edge on the end of that one, Harry Milne. goes behind for a goal kick. Sinisalo pressured here as he hooks the ball long up the field. Findlay, who will thump that one right behind towards Gabore. Who again, Trusty has to head out for the throw. It's a couple of times Austin Trusty's been 1v1 with Gabore and had to head it out for the throw-ins. He's battled all right with his centre forward so far. Harry Milne's going to go for another long throw here. Let's see what they've got on offer here. Hearts. Ball into the box by Milne. Header by Johnson. It's cleared away. Now that's to Johnston. Again trying to clear his lines, but Hearts not going away yet. Milne down the left. Brought down there by Benjamin Negrin, and that's going to be a free kick. Although Negrin trying to claim that it wasn't a foul, but yeah. Milne does really well at shielding the ball away from Benjamin Negrin, and it's one of those ones, just a bit of a silly foul to give away in that sort of area. An opportunity for Hearts to deliver. Well, 24 set-piece goals this season for Hearts. They are the set-piece masters in the Scottish Premiership. On a day when they need a bit of mastery, can they find it in the most fruitful way to go? Ball swung in, Kizaridis with a cross and headed behind at the back post. That's going to be Arne Engels to head behind. Hearts get a corner. Good bit of Hearts possession here. Bit of pressure from the visitors. What was a pretty exclusive Celtic positive start in the first 10 minutes. Corner, right hand side, left footed delivery. It's narrow and into the hands of Sinisalo in the Celtic goal. Looking for green and white shirts. Not really able to find them pretty quickly as he just rolls it out to Austin Trusty, who's got acres of space here. Yang hits it straight at Harry Milne. That's going to be a Celtic throw. Well, the last time these two sides met on the final day of the season was back in 2019. Celtic won 2-1 that day, and an 84th minute winner from Mikey Johnston to secure the victory. Celtic were the title winners that day. It didn't come down to the final day, but Celtic did lift the trophy at the end of that game. And is history going to repeat itself here this afternoon, 7 years later? Austin Trusty trying to fire one through the middle to find a runner, but no one on the same page. Andy says, how many times has it not been Celtic or Rangers that have won it? Can't think of one in my lifetime, and have ended up almost getting the sack from that club. But he went on to do okay and that Motherwell. Well, I think the last time that obviously anyone other than Celtic or Rangers won the title was back in 1985, of course, with Aberdeen. But there was a stat I was looking at, and I found it a really good stat. If Hearts win the title today, it will be only the 20th time in 130 seasons of Scottish football that a side other than Celtic or Rangers were the champions. That is an incredible, incredible stat. It shows the stranglehold that the old firm have had on this title for so many years. The stoppage here for the moment is a Hearts player down. And there's a bit of booing in the fact that he has stopped the game, the referee. I think it's Stuart Findlay. This kind of collides with his man. And Alistair Johnston was the one that was breaking forward, and he just kind of collide. It's definitely not a foul in it, but referee making sure that the Hearts man is okay, and a bit of a Frankie Kent, I think, is warming up on the sidelines there. Now we do have the stoppage in play. Can just tell you about the previous meetings between the sides, but of course if you're unknown to Celtic, or the Scottish football shall I say, the split is a unique prospect in leagues with 12 teams or smaller groups. Usually in English football we have 20 or 24 teams, so you play each other twice. It makes up 38 games or 40 odd games. In the Scottish Premiership you play each other 3 times throughout the season, then you split between the top 6 and the bottom 6, and then they play each other once more to make up 38 games. So this is the 4th meeting they've had between each other in the league this season, and Hearts have won twice and drawn the other between the sides, also including winning here at Celtic Park earlier in the season back in December 2-1. So Hearts, 3 previous meetings they've had against Celtic this season, they've gone unbeaten. The last Celtic win against Hearts was back in March of 2025, where they won 3-0 here, all 3 goals coming in the first half of that game, as Celtic were en route to another title, of which they won by I think it was more than 81 points. That was after the split, but they won it pretty bad canter last season. Hearts have got a free kick from that situation, and Swallow takes it long. Good battle in the midfield there as Callum McGregor tries to poke it upfield. Good header there towards Yang, who flicks it round the corner looking for Maida's run, but that's hooked clear down the line by Kingsley. Scales getting his head in. Tierney trying to bypass the midfield. It's a bit up in the air, the play at the moment. There's Kabore wrestling with Trusty, and Trusty was fouled there by Kabore. The Celtic free kick. Fizz down the line by Alistair Johnston. It's one to chase for Benjamin Negrin, but too much on it, and a little bit of a shove there by the Hearts defender Stuart Findlay, but it's not foul. But both sides have certainly lived up to the expectation of this game today. You know, we talk a lot about the big, huge games and kind of what pressure can do to you at the same time, but both sides have started in that quite an attacking, front-footed style. That's exactly what we want on this final battle of the season. Both sides going at each other, knowing that the title is very much on the line. Shankland lays the ball out wide. Squared across to the right-hand side. Kingsley. Kizaridis. There's no way to go outside. Spins it back to Kingsley, who's on the right flank. Back to Kizaridis. Nicely done by Celtic to just give no space to Hearts there as Findlay goes more direct. Alistair Johnston battling, and the offside flag was up anyway. So that's going to come to a pretty sudden end by Altena, who's the one targeting that run forward for Hearts. Sinisalo to Austin Trusty. Now to Alistair Johnston. The Celtic side are looking to make it 5 in a row, which is a massive turnaround from, of course, remember that COVID season where Rangers won the title with Stephen Gerrard. Incredible Rangers result. Oh, that's a lovely way to ball in behind Maida, but a fabulous challenge by Findlay. Cuts that one out well. And he struggles back to his feet. His goalkeeper hooks clear. The Maida's runs in behind. They're in major danger. And the guys in Maida, who's really hit form at the right time of the season. Since the split, he has scored an incredible 6 goals in 4 games and an assist. He scored in every game since the split and has carried Celtic almost exclusively to the title. 2 goals against Falkirk in a 3-1 win, a goal against Hibs in a 2-1 win, 2 against Rangers, and that incredible overhead kick that we saw at Celtic Park last weekend, and a 3-2 victory away at Motherwell. He scored in that game as well. He scored, I think, the 2nd goal of that game. So a massive, massive performance from Daisen Maida. 6 goals. That's almost half of his season tally coming in the last 4 games. That is certainly a player stepping up in the right moments, in the big moments, to try and get the job done. Trusty. Johnston. Clipping it over the top, looking for the run of Yang. Takes the touch under his right foot. Yang trying to come back onto his right-hand side, but was well cut out there. And the flag was up anyway. Harry Milne with the challenge, who didn't know he was offside, but Yang just couldn't hold his run. Yang's also played a key part for Celtic over the last few weeks. He also scored against Rangers. Actually, he was onside there, Yang. Looked to me like he was onside from the cut of the grass. A good challenge by Harry Milne nonetheless. Make sure Yang had no way through. Yang also scored against Rangers in the Old Firm last week. It was a massive victory for Celtic. Here's a ball in behind for Kabore. Takes the touch, squares it across, and Scales was able to scramble. Johnston to hook it forward. Away from Dyson Maid, who's struggled to get involved in the game too much in the build-up. Another direct ball for Hearts down that left channel. Austin Trusty gets his head to it. Hearts shield that one out for the throw. Well, it's definitely a technique from Derek McGuinness's team at the minute to find that left channel, that inside running passing lane, and to really target that area of the field. Get Austin Trusty 1v1 and try and isolate him and work off that. And that seems to be the technique. Milne swung it in. Header by Shankland is looped away from goal. Well, 21 minutes gone. Celtic with 62% of the possession to Hearts' 38%. Hearts have just come up with 1 or 2 shots in the last few minutes, starting to add a bit of final third quality to their play. Nothing to really test either goalkeeper as of yet. Nail biting for some inside Celtic Park. Lovely flick there by Shankland. Kabore from range. Struck it well off target. Oh, Sinisalo caught Austin Trusty off guard a little bit there, but hopefully no danger in the area. I think a bit more energy from their team, the home crowd at the minutes. Kind of just stepped off it a little bit, Celtic. Maybe just preserving themselves, but they'll try and keep the stranglehold on Hearts. Remember, Hearts only need a draw. Celtic have to win. Trusty. Negron coming to show for the ball. Waits for his man to make the inside run and spin back. Yang. He evades pressure. Trying to find Negron, but that's closed out. And McGregor was beaten to it in the middle by Devlin. Nice Shankland's dropping a little deeper. Back to Kingsley. There's a lot of wide play from Celtic. Every time they try and go centrally, try and play through the middle, we've not really seen much. Varna Engels really in play too much, or Callum McGregor. Good header there in the middle by Beningame. Ball swung down the left. Again, nicely cut out that time by Celtic, who evaded that pressure, and Engels plays it back to Scales. Going a bit more direct, finding Tenecti. Tierney wide. Tierney looking for the inside run of Tenecti, who snuck in behind his man, took the touch but couldn't get past, and that's hooked, scrambled clear by Steinwender. Yeah, a little bit better from Celtic. They recycled the ball well there from that long direct ball from Hearts and worked it out to the left. Little 1-2 combination between Kieran Tierney and Sebastian Tenecti. Works out for a Celtic throw on the left hand side. And Kieran Tierney, the first opportunity maybe test the Hearts defence with a long throw. It was a long throw that led to the Celtic penalty on Wednesday night. Another launch, headed away the first time, and then a clash at the edge of the D there is going to see Hearts win the free kick. A crunching challenge. Yeah, Alistair Johnston just got a little bit too keen to win the ball, shall we say. Austin Trusty certainly had the most touches. There's a lot of Celtic defenders. 3 of the top 4 for touches in the game are Celtic's defenders. 4th on the list is their goalkeeper. There's a lot of Celtic touches without really much threat between the lines. And while there is a break and play, Callum McGregor just getting some information from the coaching staff. While there's a Hearts player still down. Well, Celtic, as I said, have won 6 league games in a row. They've won 8 of their last 9. But haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 4 league games. When it comes to home form, they've won 7 of their last 8 home league games, including each of their last 4. So if there's ever a run of form to head into the final game of the season needing a win, it's their recent run for Celtic. He seemed to find ways, as of recent, to get over the line and get the wins that they need. They need just one more. Altena's back to his feet. The Hearts goalkeeper with another long direct ball. Kabore with the flick. Bounces down, allowing Celtic to win it back. Tenecti brought down there in a 1v1, and that's going to be a free kick. Kizaridis with the foul. Well, who will strike first? Who will find the opener? What is a tantalisingly tight title decider so far. Trusty with the switch ball. It's a ping towards Tierney, cut out well, but the second ball brought down by Negron, trying to find Maida, but just behind the Celtic centre forward. Again, Celtic gone a bit more direct. Austin Trusty trying to go for that switch ball to Tierney. It's cut out well at the far right hand side by Kingsley, but nicely picked up by Benjamin Negron, picking up in that pocket of space just in front of the Hearts defenders. As he tried to feed it through, there was a little gap for Maida's run. He just couldn't find him. Celtic may be starting to settle in their possession play in between the lines and maybe starting to find a few little openings in the Hearts. What is a stubborn Hearts team out of possession? One thing you certainly can give Hearts a massive amount of credit for is how difficult they are, how kind of dogged they can be, how tough they can make it for their opponents. Celtic have certainly suffered those struggles throughout the season against Eric McInnes' side, as Maida does well to pressure the defender into giving away the throw-in. Alistair Johnston throws it back to Austin Trusty. Seem to have managed the game well so far, the home side, but one thing that Martin O'Neill did say, which kind of perked my ear in a little bit before the game, is that he said you don't want to come out all guns blazing in the fact that you don't want to be 2-0 down and chasing the game. You want to manage it. It's kind of what Celtic have done. They tried to put a little bit of early pressure, but have kind of just settled a little bit and try to just build it back up slowly. Hearts, as I said, will be pretty contented with what they've done so far in 28.5 minutes, and Celtic haven't had a shot on target yet. Neither side have had a shot on target to this point. So here's Liam Scales. Scales. Tierney. Back to Liam Scales. Triangles there for Celtic, but really going nowhere. Tierney decides to switch it across to Trusty. Took a heavy touch and, well, just about get away with it as Lawrence Shanklin was closing in. Certainly 1v1 is where they can make a danger. Hearts certainly against Austin Trusty. Work that out from a pretty pressured situation. Sinisalo forward to Scales, who's got the freedom. Going to clip it out to the left channel. It's going to be a difficult one to keep in. He does well there, Tierney. Takes it down deftly on the left-hand side. Kieran Tierney looking for an option. Going for the reverse into the area. Drops to the edge of the box and no wide option for Celtic as Scales recycles. And they sustain a bit of pressure. Tenecti. Callum McGregor squares it across. A little bit loose, but Negrin tidies it up. Celtic are trying to work themselves into space, but Hearts are so strong to stay with them. Scales with a little bit of a awkward pass. Certainly not the one he was targeting, and that allows Hearts back into the game. So half an hour gone at Celtic Park. Remains goalless, and as it stands, Hearts would be champions. There was a moment in midweek where Hearts were, as it stood, champions. Celtic were winning and Hearts were winning and Celtic were losing at one point midweek, but it didn't transpire to be that way. And as it stands, Hearts would be winning the title by a point, 81 to 80. That is the way it would stand, but there is surely quite a few twists and turns still to come. Long looping ball over the top, cleared long there. Abore trying to evade pressure and crunching challenge in on Beningame. Ultimately that one goes out for a Celtic throw. Alistair Johnston will take. As I said, this home crowd can really carry their team forward. Maybe they just need a little bit of that at the moment. It's Derby Day magic last week here at Celtic Park. They want to inspire a bit of that. And that's a lovely challenge. It's a bit of a massive clash, but Celtic are away here. Opportunity for Tenecti, whose shot is straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. He did well to settle himself, Sebastian Tenecti. What was a bit of a frantic moment, and Celtic were on the breakaway. Nicely weighted ball into Tenecti's path. He broke onto his right foot and set himself well, but ultimately the shot was too close. Not enough raw power on the shot in the end to really test the Hearts goalkeeper. Celtic in the ascendancy. Tenecti with the first shot on target has been a bit of a battle for territory and possession so far. Here's Austin Trusty going on a little bit of a run. Lays it out to the right. Here's Yang. Cuts onto his left. Yang. Little 1-2 with Engels, but that was cut out well. That's one thing. Hearts are so fiery. Can break those passing lanes down, and Celtic need to be almost perfect in those areas to squeeze that little bit of space to find those through balls. That was nicely cut down. Negrin, Scales seem to be winning the physical tussle at the minute, Celtic, which is not something you would really kind of attribute to this Celtic team. Real physical team, but they've certainly held their own in that aspect so far. Negrin. Ball wide to Yang. Johnston. Negrin. Has it played back to Alistair Johnston. Scales. Clip ball over the top. Nice run inside from Kieran Tierney, who's got an opportunity, didn't want to shoot. Now Negrin trying to work out a shooting position. Drop for Johnston, who just couldn't get there in time, and I think he's going to get a yellow card, Alistair Johnston. Just a little bit late in his battle. That's going to be a free kick. Yeah, Negrin won it back quickly, and then it was stolen away. And Altena just got there ahead of Alistair Johnston, which saw the Celtic right back given a yellow card. First yellow card of the afternoon. "35 minutes gone. 10 minutes to go with the first half. Celtic 0, Hearts 0 at Celtic Park. Gregor battling in the middle. Johnston with the clearance. Finlay was able to scramble clear. Gregor tried to force it right the way back it came. A good tussle there by Arne Engels, who gets away from his man, but again Kizaridis with the recovery gets in the way of him. Feeds it back to his goalkeeper. They do the hard work there to win the ball in the mix, and Arne Engels charging towards goal gets a little bit too complacent. Doesn't realise that Kizaridis is charging down behind him as the ball stolen away from him. Another long ball over the top from Engels towards Maida. Nicely won by Steinvender. Now this time Kizaridis wins his tackle in the middle. Laid it out wide to Milne. Chance for Hearts here. Milne couldn't find the through ball, but it will bounce back to Altena. Onto his right foot. Altena into the box, couldn't get a shot off. Drops for Beningame. 1-2. Swung for Altena, who high and wide really from range. Not much threat really to Sinisalo's goal, but decent spell there from Hearts in what has been a first half where they've done do a lot of out of possession work. Austin Trusty. Johnston to Negrin. All it takes is one moment. We've seen that before. Will we see it again? Lack of options and decisiveness for Celtic. I think they're almost, I'm not saying they're being a little bit afraid, but they're a little bit hesitant to play a ball into the middle. Almost as if they're, as I say, afraid of losing it and being countered on. Shanklin does well here, and he's found Cabore's run. Cabore, he's got Scales in his way, and Scales with the tackle, but the bounce will see it bobble around a little bit before Cabore had the last touch. Well wide for a goal kick. Scales, a bit more direct, finding Dyson Maida. It's absolutely hacked to the ground, but the referee will play the advantage with Celtic on the attack. Tinecti down the left hand side. Not many options in the middle, but Sebastian Tinecti does well to win a corner, and there's going to be a yellow card as well for an earlier foul on Dyson Maida, which is good refereeing. Yeah, it was Steinvender hacking Dyson Maida down. Michael Steinvender, the first Hearts player to receive a yellow card this afternoon. Celtic corner then, left hand side. Opportunity for Celtic here. Engels' delivery cleared away by Shanklin at the front post. As McGregor retrieves. Tinecti back to McGregor. No one willing to go for the cross. That's worked out to the right hand side as Celtic will win a throw. Alistair Johnston take this throw in. Goes short. Gets it back, does the Canadian. As they go back to Austin Trusty. It's a little bit risk averse at the minute, Celtic. I think the crowd want to see them take a little bit more of a risk. Be a little bit more aggressive, especially with their wingers. Got the ability to run it. Full backs. That's a nice ball from Tierney, and Engels had made the run, and Steinvender goes down. That's going to be a foul. So 5 minutes of the first half remain. Celtic 0, Hearts 0. And as it stands, Hearts will be crowned champions. Celtic can only stop that if they win. And Celtic have gone on a nice unbeaten run at home. We haven't lost in the league since the 22nd of February when Hibs came here and won 2-1. It's almost 3 months since their last league home defeat. Throughout the season they've won 14 of their 18 home league games, Celtic. Drawn 1 and lost 3. When it comes to scoring at home, they've scored more goals at home than any other team in the league. 40 goals they've scored at Celtic Park this season. Puts them in a pretty good class above the rest, as Liam Scales there got his header but headed it in the wrong direction, and that's gone behind for a corner to Hearts. A pretty cheap corner to give away, but Liam Scales tried to chase it to deny it but couldn't get there quick enough. Opportunity here for the visitors then. Stephen Kingsley is going to come over to take this corner. Kingsley, left-footed, it's fizzed right to the edge of the box. It's training ground technique. Celtic, everybody runs out from the area. Ball fed back to Kingsley wide. Trying to whip it in again. That one's blocked. Zanecti with the block, and that's going to be another Hearts corner. That one didn't quite work out, and they'll have another go at it. Take 2. Everybody in the box. Derek McInnes watches on. Can something be unlocked from a set piece? Left-footed delivery, this one right into the area, and headed into the back post by Lawrence Shankland. And Hearts take the lead. Right from the back post, he rises high as the Hearts captain, and Hearts take the lead at Celtic Park. A draw is enough, but a win is even better. And Heart of Midlothian strike first at Celtic Park, and we are right towards the edge of half-time, and it would always have to be him, Lawrence Shankland. Come up with so many key goals for Hearts over the years, but this one will be surely amongst the most important. A deep ball right round the back, and Lawrence Shankland with a free header to nod home past Sinisalo. And it's Derek McInnes' side who have first blood in this title decider. Fantastic from the visitors. And you have to say, they've snatched it right before half-time. And a bit of pressure that Celtic couldn't fend off. And it's a set piece that delivers the first goal of this game. But will that open it up now? Steinvender has to thumped that one away. It's straight out for a throw, though. It's now Celtic's time to respond. They needed to respond in the Old Firm last week. They went 1-0 down against Rangers, came back and won 3-1. And it's now they have to go and be more open, be more attacking, take more risks in the final third if they want to turn this one around. And if there's ever a perfect time to find the net in such a tight, close game, it is right before half-time. And the travelling Hearts supporters, who I'm sure that would have been incredibly hard to get tickets for those fans at this game. Would have been high on impossible to get tickets. One thing you have to say, though, we talked about a lot of Celtic possession, but I haven't really seen Celtic test the goalkeeper too much, other than that Tenecti shot from range. It was a pretty comfortable save, really, for the goalkeeper. I haven't seen much of Celtic being a danger in the final third. It's been a lot of midfield battling. Just haven't been able to strike through Hearts. That's good battling from Yang, though. And he was taken down as he got away from two markers. That's going to be a free kick. That's no time to waste for Celtic now. 3 added minutes at the end of the first half. They played already 1. Here's Tenecti down the left side. And a tiptoe towards the box. Waits for the overlap. Tierney's delivery blocked. Calls of handball. Penalty given. He initially gave a corner to the referee, but quickly changed his mind, and it's a penalty to Celtic. Well, Derek McInnes called a penalty decision on Wednesday night. Disgusting. Well, what will he make of this one? Tierney tried to cross, and it was blocked. And it was the hand. Quite clearly the hand. It wasn't his hand that was keeping him up, and Keziridis uses his right hand to block it. But it's a penalty to Celtic, and I don't think there can be much disputing that one. There was VAR drama at Fir Park on Wednesday night when Celtic got a last minute penalty to win against Motherwell. Well, they were checking VAR to make sure all was okay. No offsides, no anything like that. But it will be a penalty to Celtic. It was Kelechi Iheanacho to strike from the spot in midweek. And Celtic, right before half-time, have a chance to tie this one up. Well, let's see who's going to step up for Celtic. Liam Scales has got the ball under his arm, but I wouldn't suspect he would be taking the penalty. It's Arne Engels. As the Hearts goalkeeper tries to strike a bit of fear into the Celtic midfielder, but Arne Engels looks focused. Fingers crossed. Nerves, surely, are all around Celtic Park, of a Celtic persuasion and a Hearts persuasion too. Hearts lead, Celtic with a penalty before half-time to try and find a leveller. Arne Engels, the one that's stepping over this. An opportunity for the champions to level. Engels finds the nets, finds the bottom corner, and Celtic are level. It sends this stadium into raptures, as you would expect, and the fight back didn't take long. A penalty converted by Arne Engels finds Celtic on a level footing with Hearts once again. It's not the best of penalties, but they won't care about the quality. All they'll care about is that it's found a way in. Engels looked calm and composed, and he slotted that one home. 1-1. Game on in this title decider. And we're right on the verge of half-time. Well, if there's certainly a setup for the second half, well, the last 5 minutes we've had of this first half have been quite the setup. Maida Yang spreads it wide. Celtic want to try and snatch something before half time, but that's going to be shoved by Alistair Johnson, but it's going to go out of play for a Celtic throw anyway. Scales, there's no time left. Half-time whistle goes. And it's that loud inside Celtic Park that the half-time whistle was drowned out by Celtic fan noise inside this stadium. It was a stadium that was pretty stunned when Lawrence Shankland gave Hearts the lead from a corner, heading in at the back post unchallenged. But a penalty again that saves Celtic in the first half and gives them a level footing into half-time through Arne Engels with the leveller. Half-time in this title decider. It's Celtic 1, Hearts 1. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Welcome back to the Scottish Premiership Final Day live on LFS. The Celtic are drawing with Hearts 1-1 at the break. That is not the actual score as you see on your screen. This is the actual score. It is 1-1 at the break between the two sides, but a level score, as we told you in the first half, is not enough for Celtic to win the title. They need to win, but Hearts, as it stands, would be champions. So 1-1 at the break here. It was a very fast start in the game between Falkirk and Rangers, and it's continued that way. Here's the updated score. It's 3-2 to Rangers in what has been a goal fest of a first half between Rangers and Falkirk. It was a 2-goal lead for Rangers. Yusuf Tremiti with 2 goals inside 6 minutes. An own goal from Jack Butland got Falkirk a goal back. Then Gassama made it 3-1. And a penalty just before half-time from Calvin Miller has found a second for Falkirk. So it's Falkirk 2, Rangers 3. It was a high-scoring game between these two in the last time they met at Falkirk. A 6-3 Rangers win on that one. And at half-time it's 3-2. And just a 1 goal between Hibs and Motherwell. And it is the visitors who are in front in that one. Lucas Fadinger with the only goal of that first half that sees Motherwell leading by 1-0. Remember, Motherwell at the moment would be finishing in 4th, but if Hibs can turn it around and win, then they would finish 4th. So there's a battle there between those two in who wants to finish in that final European spot. So that's up for grabs, and Motherwell winning that battle at the moment, as you can see. So as it stands, Hearts are top of the table, and that's the way it will stay as it stands with a 1-1 draw at the moment. Celtic will miss out by a solitary point if they are to draw here. Rangers are winning 3-2. They would go on to 72 points. It would still be 9 points off the league leaders, the winners, as it stands. Motherwell on 61. They're currently winning against Hibs. But remember, there's a 4-point gap between those two at the moment. But if Motherwell were to lose and Hibs were to win, then it would be a 58-60 points in Hibs' favour. So Hibs would take 4th. So it's still very much up for grabs between those two. And 6th place is Falkirk, who are losing 3-2 at home to Rangers. But at the moment, Falkirk very much a positive season for them after being promoted last season. A top 6 finish is very much what they could have, better than what they could have dreamed of, really. At the bottom of the table, in what is to be the final day action tomorrow between those sides, that's taking place tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Dundee United are currently 7th or 1st in the relegation group. Aberdeen in 2nd in that one, they're 8th. Dundee on 9th, Kilmarnock in 10th, St Mirren in 11th, and Livingston in 12th. Livingston already relegated, and St Mirren will play a playoff for a possible promotion relegation playoff with Partick Thistle, who are in the Championship, and that is set in stone, so not much to decide, or very little, shall I say, to decide at the bottom of the table. But still a lot to decide at the top. Who will be the champions? Will it be Celtic or will it be Hearts? We'll find out very shortly. The second half is on the way in just a moment. But a reminder for you, we have another massive game coming up straight after this. It is the 2026 FA Cup Final from Wembley Stadium. It's Chelsea against Manchester City. For crowning glory of the season. Will City make it 2 cup wins for them in a row after winning the League Cup earlier in the season? Can they make it a cup double? Or will Chelsea claim this competition for the first time in 8 years? We'll find out as those two sides face off at Wembley in less than an hour and a half's time at 3 o'clock kickoff there from Wembley Stadium. But a second half to come at Celtic Park to decide the champions. Will it be staying in Glasgow, or will it be, for the first time in a long time, heading to Edinburgh? Second half on the way next. Welcome back to the Scottish Premiership Final Day live here in LFS. At the moment it is Celtic 1, Hearts 1 at the break, and all of the season, 37 games as I said, that have been building up to this next 45 minutes to decide the title winners. We are no closer to finding out who will win the title because we are, as you were technically, from the start of the game. Both sides scoring means it's a 1-1 draw at the moment, so we are at exactly the same places that we were at the start of the day. But could that change in the second half? At no point this afternoon so far have Celtic taken top spot. Will they leave it to the very death to do that? We will find out. But remember, it's all on Celtic. They have to win. Hearts are doing their job at the minute. They took the lead and they're holding on at the moment at Celtic Park, so that would be enough to crown Hearts champions. But as it stands, it is still in the balance. It could go either way at the moment, and we are waiting the second half between the two sides. A highly anticipated next 45 minutes in what is set to be a cracking finale to what has been a fantastic season in the Scottish Premiership. For the majority of the season, it's been a three-way title race with Rangers in the mix too, right up until that derby game last week here that mathematically ruled Rangers out of the title. That took another hit when they lost their fourth game in a row in midweek. They are winning at the moment, and they've just added a fourth to their tally, by the way, away at Falkirk, so they are back in front by 2 goals once again. It is Falkirk 2, Rangers 4. Yusuf Chermiti completing the hat-trick to make it 4-2. Right, second half on the way then, and it looks like there's some Celtic changes coming, and it looks like it was the man who saved them in midweek, Kelechi Iheanacho. He's going to be coming on a lot earlier than he has before, and he's certainly come on to win games multiple times already for Celtic since the split. He wants to do it again to win them the title. Celtic kicking from right to left in the second half. Hearts from left to right. Kelechi Iheanacho replacing Sebastian Tinekti, so Maida will go to left wing, and Kelechi Iheanacho will go through the middle. I'll tell you the impact of Kelechi Iheanacho in a moment when we get back underway, as we now off and running for the second half. 45 minutes to decide the title winners. That is what stands in the way of the champions of Scotland. Will it remain Celtic retaining their title for the 5th successive season, or will Hearts claim their 5th title overall in what would be a historic moment for Scottish football, certainly in recent years? Kelechi Iheanacho, as I said, on for Sebastian Tinekti, so Iheanacho off the bench has created some big moments before. He scored the winning penalty in midweek after coming off the bench. He scored the winner at Hibs, scored the winner at Dundee as well. Crucial winning goals for Kelechi Iheanacho across the season. Can he come up with another one, just one more, to try and get the job done for Celtic? Well, an interesting situation that Hearts are going to make a change a minute into the second half, which is very strange. Frankie Kent on for Jordi Altena. Why they didn't make that change at half time, I'll never know. And they have made that change. Kent for Altena. Here is Kieran Tierney now for Celtic. Trusty. Quickly given to Alistair Johnston. Yang down the right, back to Johnston. All the way back to Austin Trusty. Just guided back to Sinisalo. Now given to Liam Scales. Well, the Celtic side, who controlled a lot of the possession in the first half, but really didn't do enough to put Hearts under too much pressure right the way through the half. And clearly Martin O'Neill is not happy with how his team attacked in the first period. making that half-time substitution. Try and change things. Maybe go for a bit more of a physical approach with the Kelechi Iheanacho, much taller, more kind of physically tussling centre forward, more than the tricky Dyson Maeda in behind. Change the approach a little bit. Or maybe look for Dyson Maeda wide to create his threat. Trusty anchoring the play, finding Kelechi Iheanacho, who takes a lovely first touch, then another second. Beautiful feet there from Iheanacho as he drifts out to the right, and Hearts player goes down completely unchallenged. This is a massive issue. He's gone down completely unchallenged there. I think it's Beningame. Kelechi Iheanacho nowhere near him, but it's not a good sign because they're calling for the physios right away. Beningame goes down completely unchallenged, really. See it here. Kelechi Iheanacho just runs away from him, and as Beningame tries to catch up with him, he just pulls up his left. Kind of, don't know if it's hamstring or just behind his knee, but he pulls up right away and goes straight down. That's going to be the end of his afternoon, you would suspect, for Beningame. The Hearts side have just made a substitute right after half-time. They're going to be forced into another change, it seems, here. It looks like it's going to be Blair Spittle who's going to be coming on for Hearts, who's played his role massively. He scored the winner in the Edinburgh Derby at the start of the split away at Hibs. Scored the third goal in that win over Falkirk in midweek to send Tynecastle absolutely nuts, but Blair Spittle has certainly played a major role so far. Although they're allowing Beningame to come off the far side, or the near side. They're closer to the far side to come off the pitch, but the crowd are not happy the fact that Beningame's being allowed to walk all the way across the pitch to the bench, but it's not a good sight for Beningame. He's able to walk on kind of without major help, but it's not a nice end of the afternoon or the season for him. And Blair Spittle's going to be replacing Benny Beningame in the Hearts midfield. Maybe a bit of a readjustment for Derek McInnes. So Spittle replacing Beningame, who had to come off with the hamstring injury. So that's two Hearts substitutions in the first couple of minutes of the second half. That means they've only one opportunity to make three more substitutes in the game. All they need to do is hold on to a level score, draw or win, and they're the champions. And we've seen teams come to Celtic Park and try and hold them at bay so many times before. It's a blueprint that's certainly been copied more times than enough. Hearts are going to have to also give themselves a fighting chance to also attack Celtic and keep them under a bit of pressure. They want to give Celtic all free roam for the second half. And they didn't in the first half, but Celtic just lacked that energy more than anything to break Hearts down in the first period. Trusty threads a ball through, it's flicked round the back as Yang was trying to make the run, but that's swallowed up by Swallow. Well, I didn't mean that. Not at all. Austin Trusty was very patient in his through ball play there. He was very patient to find the right target. Well, he did, but patience was a little bit frustrating from the home fans. Johnston goes a bit more direct down the right channel. One for Negrin to chase, and that's hooked out of play for a throw to Celtic. High up the fields. Little 1-2 Johnston lays it behind Iheanacho, but makes the run onto the ball. Spins back on himself, Iheanacho right through, and that one's easily caught by the Hearts goalkeeper, but he's making more danger in and around the edge of the area already, Kelechi Iheanacho. His link-up play looking sharp so far. So Johnston, header into the air, is a little bit wide of the mark, but taken down by Yang with the help of his captain, McGregor. Here is Callum McGregor, playing right back in the minute for Celtic, but he's given it away here cheaply, and Kabore brought down. That's going to be a foul, and it's going to be a yellow card as well. Handed out to Celtic player, I think it's Benjamin Negron. He's going to get the yellow card. Kabore still making a nuisance of himself in that wide area. And another set piece opportunity for Hearts here. They scored from a corner in the first half. We've got a free kick here. Opportunity to test the Celtic defence once again. Bodies in the box. Another opportunity. Two over it. Wide left. Struck with the right foot of Kizaridis, but way off targets. Decided to go for goal there, Kizaridis, but that one was well off target. Scales, long ball. Headed away by Frankie Kent. Couldn't keep it in play though there. Down the right, and they've kicked the ball away there. Which Kieran Tierney was making that claim, but the referee, I think, will let that one slide at least. Tierney to take the throw. Tierney, poor throw in, but he will pick up the second ball. Can't find it. Man in green and white, but we'll get another throw in, Celtic. I think at the minute the pace of the game will suit Hearts. They're not being penned in. Celtic are being a little bit cautious with their approach at times. Just need to be a bit more aggressive. Just take an extra risk. There's a long ball over the top, looking for the run of Yang. Yang's got in behind. Can he get it across? He can. It will drop though, and the cross deflected for the corner. Calling for a head injury here. The ball over the top. Yang makes the run in behind, and as he gets behind his man, he just kind of loses the flight of the ball as it drops. See it here. It's Alistair Johnston following in. He tries the cross, and it's cascaded off Kingsley. Feeds hit his head there. Yeah, he was caught after the fact, but that's completely accidental from Alistair Johnston. Kingsley up and okay. That's Celtic corner then. Kieran Tierney will take. Well, it's from a corner at this end in the first half where Hearts scored. Tierney, left-footed, swung round the back post. That's headed clear. Kept alive by McGregor. Bit of a tricky one for Scales, who's holding off his man. Two men he's holding off now, Liam Scales. And fantastically wins another Celtic corner from the Irishman. Did well there. Take it quickly, Celtic. No waiting around now. Have to be more alert. Callum McGregor's cross. Flicked off the head. Going to drop maybe. Calls a handball again. Cleared away though. The referee sees no issue. Celtic with the pressure now. A bit of momentum going in the home side's favour all of a sudden. Dyson Maida. Back to Callum McGregor. You haven't really seen dictate the game too much. McGregor is... I mean... there's no words really to describe, no single word to describe how important he is to this Celtic team. One word you can use, he dictates things. Austin Trusty with it. A woeful pass and a ball in behind for Kabore. Sinisalo was coming and he did get the block, and that's cleared away from danger. Celtic now maybe want to spring a counter. Yang, bodies down everywhere up and down the pitch in both teams' colours. Scrappy to say the very least, as that one will actually go out for a throw. The referee's just going to stop the game for a moment. There's going to be a yellow card handed out. Kizaridis is down. I think Austin Trusty's the one that's going to get that yellow. Arne Engels was down as well in his own half of the field. Austin Trusty with a really, really poor ball that started that attack and move for Hearts. So it's just a lazy pass, really. It's closed down about 3 yards away from him by Kizaridis, and it's just a moment that Celtic just didn't need. And Arne Engels, though, with a fabulous slide tackle in his own half to evade the pressure. Kizaridis is still down. Well, Hearts are unbeaten in the last 7 league games. They've won 5 of those. But they have just one away win from in the league. In their last 6, they've drawn 2 and lost 3. However, they're unbeaten on the road since the split. They've played 3 games away from home. 1-1 and drawn 2. Only Celtic have picked up more points on the road, though, than Hearts this season. 31. And they've conceded the joint fewest away goals of any team, along with Rangers this season with 20. Well, that was coming into the game. Actually, at the moment, they're still winning that front because they've conceded 1. Rangers conceded 2 at this moment in time. So they are still winning on that front. And Kizaridis, after receiving some treatment, is up and okay, which is, I'm sure, to the thanks and to the easing of maybe a nervous Derek McInnes on the sidelines. That already an injury substitution and another sub that they've made early in the half. Another forced sub there, and that would have been them done and dusted, really, for the game. Trusty. Wide it goes. Johnston plays it on to Yang. Yang trying the cross, blocked, and that will just clip the corner flag and go out for a corner. Yeah, a little bit quicker we've seen from Celtic. Carry the ball wide, try that early cross. That's where they're getting these set piece opportunities from. Another Yang cross that was blocked. And another Celtic corner will come on this right hand side. It's Tierney again. Tierney left footed. Swung in and too close to Schwallow in the Hearts goal. Andy says Celtic do need to try to throw the kitchen sink at them. Hearts are sitting back and trying to play the game out. Celtic need to press them more. Well, at the moment, it is Celtic with the pressure, but again, not enough testing of Schwallow's goal. There's Kabore trying to work in behind there. That's well dealt with by Scales. Well, the one thing Celtic need to be very careful of is, yes, they want to push forward, yes, they want to try and go for the winner. You don't want to find yourself behind the gate and have even more work to do. It's about finding that balance, which against this Hearts team is incredibly difficult. Kingsley to take this Hearts corner then. It's a game of set pieces at the minute. Kingsley. Left footed. Deep back post again. That one is going to sail its way through and out the other end for a goal kick. Andy says there still feels like there's another goal in this game, but to who? Yeah, you kind of feel that it's not done and dusted yet. You kind of feel there's something brewing, something building. And this change might be what is building. James Forrest on for Yang. James Forrest, who has delivered so many top moments for Celtic over the years. He's won everything multiple times at the football club. Can he have the say in this game that turns it in Celtic's favour? Trusty, nice ball out wide here to Forrest. Played inside, here's Negrin trying to find the run, but not on the same page as Alistair Johnston It was a good move by Celtic. It was Forrest right away hugging the touchline. He played a nice square ball to Benjamin Negron, arriving onto the edge of the box, and he tried to find Alistair Johnston on the underlap, but just couldn't get the right pass, and they weren't on the same page, those two. And that broke the attack down, but I'm seeing little glimmers of Celtic where they can. They can test, they can find a way through, but it's just that final moment, that final pass, that final touch in the final third that's letting them down at the moment. Sinisalo has to come and scramble that one away from danger. Game is on a knife edge. Remember, Celtic have to win the title. A draw is not enough. McGregor driving forward, finds Maida, whips the ball in, it's a little high, and it will bobble out for a throw-in on the far side to Hearts. It was well shielded there by Kingsley, but first time we've really seen Maida drive from that wide area and whip a ball in the half. It all came from that really good strong run from midfield by Callum McGregor down the left. Clock continues to tick closer to 90 minutes. As it stands, Hearts will be the champions. Maida snatching upon a loose pass. Ian Nacho couldn't make anything happen out of that as Swallow gets rid. Headed one by Trusty, carried on by Negron. No one there to take it down in a Celtic shirt. Oh, good challenge by Johnston, wins it back. Forrest. James Forrest through the lines. Ian Nacho was pushed over. That's going to be a Celtic free kick. Scales. Tierney back to Liam Scales. Nervy there as Shanklin was closing him down, but Sinisalo's come forward to help out in the build up here for Celtic. Everybody pushing forward. Find that extra little edge. 1-2s between the lines, but nothing penetrating at the moment. Austin Trusty has to go wide again. Forrest down the line it comes. Master Johnston evading pressure and challenges as it ball was cut across, blocked by Kingsley, cleared away by Hearts once again. Trusty a little bit wayward with his header, and Shanklin has the ball here. Oh, almost gave it away. Stepped in was McGregor to win it back. Trusty now drifting into the Hearts half of the field. Ian Nacho evading the challenge initially, finding McGregor. Now on to Tierney. Tierney with a whip ball around the back. It's headed behind for the corner by Kingsley. Better Celtic play, and a response from the crowd to show respect for that build-up from Celtic. Forrest takes the corner short to Tierney. Tierney swings one in, fizzes to the back post, and over the top from Dyson Maida with the header. It's a fizz ball by Tierney, right to the back post, and Dyson Maida gets up, just can't keep the header down, and looped over the crossbar. There's another player down here for Hearts, Kabore, but they're going to go for a triple change. Remember, I told you they've already made 2 changes on 2 separate occasions in the half, so they have only one opportunity to make subs now, and they're going to make all 3 of them in one go. So we're going to see Kabore, Kizaridis and Milne, all replaced by Braga, Forrest and Chesnokov for a triple Hearts change. Could that carry them over the line and deliver a title? Well, it's been a long time since anyone other than Celtic and Rangers won the title, but it's been even longer since Hearts were the champions of Scotland. As I said, 1960. was the last time they were the champions. 66 years. As all those changes have been made, Hearts are finished with their substitutes then. Motherwell down to 10 men at Easter Road away at Hibs, so a second yellow card for Elliot Watt has seen Motherwell down to 10, but they're leading by a goal to nil in that one, so they are still claiming 4th spot at the moment. Hibs have to turn it around and win to claim 4th place. Speaking of winning, that's what Celtic need to do if they want to win the title. There's an early break down the right hand side. Scales missed his tackle. It's cut back onto the left and hooked away by Trusty. Well, what a quick start for Chesnikov down that right hand side. Skipping away from Maida, then past Tierney, then Scales came across, he got past him, and Tierney got back in, he was beaten again. Beat 4 players, Chesnikov, to get into the area, and Austin Trusty made the key clearance. Blair Spittle to take the long throw then for Hearts. At the front post, cleared away by Scales, and it will bounce out for another throw in to the visitors. Well, Hearts, as I said, won the previous fixture between the teams at Celtic Park back in December. 1-2-1. Chesnikov with the flick round the corner. Dyson Maida closing out Forrest's opportunity, and Kelechi Iheanacho trying to take a touch around his defender first time, but nicely recovered by Steinvender. He got in the way of that one. Despite that defeat, the most recent meeting between the sides here, Celtic have won 3 of their previous 4 home games against Hearts at Celtic Park. That was a little loose that time from Claudio Braga. That's going to be a Celtic throw as we're edging towards the final 20 minutes here at Celtic Park. A draw or a Hearts win will deliver the title to Hearts. A Celtic win will give Celtic the title. What is on course in the final 20 minutes? Negron does well to work himself into space. He's got Forrest wide. Cuts it back though to Alistair Johnston. Wide then to James Forrest. Forrest onto his left. He's driving up for one. Closed out well. Hearts evade the pressure here. Blair Spittle and Shanklin battling to win their tackles, and ultimately that's going to be a Hearts throw on the far side. Last touch of a Celtic player. Well, this would be Hearts' 5th league title in their history. They're currently level with their Edinburgh rivals, Hibs, with 4 apiece. They would love to do that as well as win the title for their own, but have one up on their own local rivals. And it will be a 9th title for for Scotland's capital, shall I say, in Edinburgh. A 9th league title. Long throw by Braga down the line. Clearance by Scales, not get very far there as the bounce takes it down for Shankland. He has it cleared away from him. Up in the air by Stuart Findlay. Away again by Tierney. It's a bit too of a tussle at the moment, and couldn't keep it in play there. Down the right hand side was Chesnikov. That's going to be a Celtic throw. As they ready some changes then. So some movement from the home bench. I'll tell you about those changes in a moment. Shanklin takes it down, battling in the middle, has 3 around him. Eventually dispossessed by the McGregor. That's going to be a free kick. Shanklin trailing McGregor to the ground. Well, Derek McInnes won the Scottish top flight with Rangers as a player back in 1997. And of course has won league titles in the second division with St Johnstone and Kilmarnock as a manager. And it's well documented Martin O'Neill's first tenure at Celtic back in the early 2000s. He won 3 league titles before as the Celtic boss, the last of which came back in 2004, 22 years ago. As we're going to see this double Celtic substitution, going to see Callum Osmond and Marcelo Sirachi coming on for Celtic. And we're going to see Austin Trusty and Kieran Tierney replaced. So 2 of the back 4 for Celtic off. Callum Osmond and Marcelo Sirachi onto the fields. Callum Osmond, the 20-year-old Welshman, scored in the League Cup against Rangers back in November. Played against Falkirk here all the way back in October. He's been in the team too much, but he's on here in the final 17 minutes to try and change the game. Celtic have led the way when it comes to goals from substitutes this season, 16, 3 more than anyone else. So if there's a team that can do it by their bench, it is the home side. Iheanacho, beautiful turn, and he's laid it through. Here's an opportunity on the break. Chances run into trouble there. I think it was it Osmond? It was. See it here, beautiful from Kelechi Iheanacho. Lays it in for Callum Osmond. And he's got a 1v1 battle, a really good tackle by Frankie Kent. He sticks out his right leg, just gets the block. It's fabulous defending, and when it needed to be. Great turn by Kelechi Iheanacho, did fantastically well to set up that opportunity. There's Alistair Johnston. Going to go for a more long direct ball. Cleared away, but pick up by Negrin in the middle. Down the right now with a little flick round the corner. Forrest run into trouble, but will win the throw-in. Celtic pushing again as we edge into the final 15 minutes. Well, Johnston finds an unmarked Kelechi Iheanacho from the throw-in. Right, Sirachi trying to work it towards the area. Does get to the edge of the box and tries to whip one across, but that's blocked. Put behind for the corner. Arne Engels scored the equaliser for Celtic from the penalty spot in this game. He's over to take this corner as he's done all afternoon on that left-hand side. Perfect delivery. Could find a perfect moment for Celtic. Swung in by Engels with the right foot. Back post, Iheanacho got up for it. He kept it alive. Flicked on again. Frankie Kent heads it. And it's actually taken in by the goalkeeper in Swallow in the end. Header one by Scales. Dyson Maida round the corner. The ball will drop here into a good space for Osmond. And now Dyson Maida cuts it back into the box. Chance, shot blocked. Another one brought down in the edge of the area. It's going to be a free kick and it's going to be a yellow card. Arne Engels brought down right on the edge of the area. We see this again. Really good play by Dyson Maida as he works it back. I think it is Benjamin Negrin. He just miscues the effort, and as Arne Engels picks up the loose ball, he's brought down. And it's a Celtic free kick. Right on the edge of the D, slightly to the left. And there's a whole queue of Celtic players wanting to take this. What have they got up their sleeves from this sort of situation? Arne Engels, Benjamin Negrin, the two that seemingly will be the ones will stand over this ball. Nerves from all areas of Celtic Park from both sets of fans watching on. One hoping this goes in, one desperately hoping it doesn't. It is Engels and Negron trying to work out the angles and to figure a way to find the net. They're setting up this Celtic wall in front of the Hearts wall to try and give them a benefit, to give them a chance. Engels and Negron over it. Key moment. It is Arne Engels who struck it wide. He got the height on it, just didn't get the accuracy really. Yeah, if that one had stayed a little bit straighter, it would have been a really good opportunity going in, because I don't think Swallow was getting there in double quick time, and Engels just directed it wide. And a sigh of relief from the travelling Hearts support, as Cammy Devlin was given a yellow card for that challenge on Arne Engels for the free kick that we've just seen. Swallow clears away. Oh, miscued bounce, and it's breaking here. Chance right down the throat of Sinisalo in the Celtic goal. It is end to end as we enter the final 11 and a half minutes. And Negron down the line, inside from Forrest, on to Kelechi Iheanacho, who hits the post. What a chance! Iheanacho couldn't fire it in, it's hit the woodwork, but they're pushing again. Swung in by Sirachi, headed clear. It's desperation for Hearts to keep it out, but desperation for Celtic to find it into the net, and Iheanacho's hit the post. The woodwork denying him. Forrest, Johnston, Iheanacho. Waiting for the moment. Negron, back to Kelechi Iheanacho. Scales now to Sirachi. Lifting it into the box. Little flick. Chance. Saved by Swallow. Negron with a shot. And Follow with a save. Corner to Celtic. Goodness me. No waiting around. Celtic take it quickly. Edge of the box. Threaded through. On the turn. That's going to take a last touch of a Celtic player. That's going to be a goal kick. Callum Osmond with the last touch. But goodness me. They're pushing now. See the Kelechi Iheanacho chance. Fabulous to break away from his defender. Swinging it. Guiding it to the far corner. And it crashes off the post. They were ready to go nuts. And they can barely believe it, that one hasn't found a way in. The man that's delivered all the key moments in the run-in for Celtic was almost inches away from doing it again in the final game of the season. This is surely not done and dusted yet. Last 10 minutes. Braga beaten. Forrest now down the right. That's a long way to go, as he'll just win the throw in there for Celtic. Remember, a draw is enough for Hearts to win the title. Celtic have to win to be champions. Rangers have a fifth in their game away at Falkirk, so they are going to win on the final day. But will it be the other side of Glasgow that will be celebrating come the final whistle? Or will Hearts finally find a way at getting the job done? It is hanging in the balance. A goal that can change fortunes. Sirachi driving forward, lays it out wide, finds Maida, gets the break of the ball. Maida! And the deflection from Osman takes it behind. I think the offside flag was up, but every time Celtic come forward, you think they're going to create a goal-scoring chance. Beautiful from Sirachi. Works inside, feeds it out wide to Maida. And as the ball swings across, it did come off Osmond, who was just offside. So if it had went in, it wouldn't have counted. But Celtic finally finding their onslaught, finding their way to pen this Hearts team in. But everywhere you look across Celtic Park, every fan of both persuasions cannot really take this in. How big a moment this is. Srirachi with the hoof ball up the field. Cleared away, half cleared really. Hearts getting a little bit messy in the middle. Srirachi trying to win it back. Negron with the chest, but actually it's going to be given as a Hearts free kick there. That's going to break this attack down. The clock ticks closer to 90. 83 minutes gone. 7 plus added time. Every time there's a stoppage in play, we get just views of the fans. A look into the crowd here at Celtic Park. Both home and away team support. All basked in nervousness, in tension and anxiety. This title will come down to the final embers here. And a break of the ball here wide for Srirachi. Switch ball looking for Ian Nacho, but that one's going to bounce. And it's going to be a throw in, and Ian Nacho wants to call all his players across to put the pressure on Hearts here. Kingsley will take this throw in for Hearts. Deep in their half. Trying to get it as far up the field as they can, but it's stolen by a Celtic player in that first time ball. Will drop behind for a goal kick. Well, right the way through. It has not been the season Celtic have wanted by any stretch in terms of the way that it has turned out. But Martin O'Neill came in his second spell at the club this season and has carried this team to an opportunity on the final day to win the title. One goal is the difference right now. That is what stands in the way as Sinisalo comes out of his area. He was isolated there and had the help of his defenders. He needed it as he was giving himself a real bit of a tough task there. Winning the ball. Johnston dragging his man down. The referee says play on as Hearts have the attack, and stepped in there was Liam Scales to put it behind for the corner. Hearts with the corner here. 5 minutes to go. Blair Spittle coming across to take this corner then on the left hand side. Look at this. They can barely watch those Hearts fans. Blair Spittle to take the corner. Left hand side. Right footed delivery. Sinisalo punches. It drops into the box. Oh! Shot was deflected and Braga couldn't carry it towards goal. Wide it goes. Celtic. Another roar from inside Celtic Park from the home crowd. Trying to urge their side on. Osmond putting a bit of pressure here on the defence. Nicely cleared by the Hearts defenders. Braga holds it up. 1-2, but Scales should have this one under wraps, and he does. Plays it back to Sinisalo. Will it come down to one moment? Srirachi carrying the ball all on his own here up the field. Trying to create something as Negron plays it back to Liam Scales. Scales wide. Srirachi on the left. Skips onto his right foot. Inside he goes. Plays it back wide. Tierney with the ball across. Maida forces it in, but I think the flag's going to go up. I think the flag's going to go up. They thought they'd prodded it home, but Dyson Maida called for offside right away by the referee. It hasn't been given on the field, but of course VAR will check to make absolutely sure. But they were pretty steadfast in their opinion that it was offside. Well, Osmond's not offside. He's the one that the ball goes through to. And Maida is well onside. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think this should stand. Osmond was onside. Dyson Maida was offside in the initial pass, but it goes to Osmond. VAR should overturn this and give Celtic a goal because there was no offside there. Osmond was onside, it looked like. And then the ball was played back to Dyson Maida across. So therefore, that might be a goal. Well, VAR having a call. Goal or not? This could be the big moment. The referee, all eyes on him. VAR having a look. And it's going to stand. It looks like the referee makes the signal. And Dyson Maida might have just delivered the title for Celtic. Right to the death here at Celtic Park. What a moment for Martin O'Neill's team. There's still minutes remaining. But Dyson Maida, who time after time in this split has delivered goal after goal. And he might have just scored the most important goal of his career to deliver Celtic a title in the dying minutes on the final day of this season. They needed a goal from somewhere, and it's always been him in recent games. He was quite clearly onside, Callum Osmond. He was a good few yards onside. The ball across was prodded in by Dyson Maida. He got there before the goalkeeper, made sure it was finding the nets, and Maida with the magic moment. And Celtic are surely going to be minutes away from delivering one of the most heartbreaking endings to a season for Hearts, who have led it all the way through. But it's going to seemingly slip at the final whistle, at the final hurdle. Benjamin Negron's going to be replaced by Dane Murray. How long is added on will be the big question. We're into the final 30 seconds and 90 minutes. How long is left of this game as the clock ticks down? How long is left? And this place is absolutely bouncing. As expected, the release of unbelievable emotion. 8 added minutes is what's going to be added on. 8 minutes away from the title. What a magical moment we are witnessing. But remember, Hearts only need a draw. They can get a goal, then it really could be done and dusted then, but they're fighting on to try and find that goal, Hearts. Scales heads it away. They will throw everything at this now. They've got nothing to lose. They have to get a goal to seal the title. Blair Spittle is over to take the throw in. Bit of fighting there in the sidelines. Spittle will get the ball and he will take this throw in. Launches it into the area. Headed away at the near post by Scales. It's going to go behind for the corner. Can Hearts do it all over again? That's the big question right now. Kingsley, left-footed delivery from the corner, deep to the back post. Headed down is wide. And that has evaded them. Massive. Well, honestly, there is remnants of green smoke in the air at Celtic Park after the place erupted when the referee confirmed the decision of a goal. There's no question it was a goal. There was no tightness, no question marks over it. It was as clear as day. There's no doubt about that. Maida putting in a tackle. Hilachi Iheanacho trying to battle. Everybody, bodies on the line. And Sinisalo clutches at the ball and gathers it in. But there's still 5.5 minutes to go of added time. Look at those young fans inside Celtic Park. They've not been starved of titles here at this club over the last number of years, but this will be a very memorable one if it does go that way. Long launch forward. Scales missed the header. Shankland was beaten to it once and twice, and Maida striding away with the ball. He might overrun it a little bit. Shankland battling. Body on the line there from Sirachi as he forced it away, and Shankland and Sirachi going face to face. The emotions boiling over too. The referee just has to get it in check as both players get a yellow card. Sirachi and Shankland. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. That's what stands in the way of Celtic winning the title once again. Long launch by Shankland. Head away by Scales. Drops around in the box. Iheanacho and Sirachi can get it clear. Anywhere will do for Celtic now. All the way back to Svolo. Hooks it forward. Header won well by Murray. McGregor with the tackle, a little bit missed time. That's going to be a free kick. As it stands, that is the way we look. That is the way it looks. We'll keep you very up to date. We'll keep that on the screen for the moment, because that is what is on the line. Top spot. Svolo to take the free kick inside the centre circle. Launched into the area. Header one to the front post. Stolen away. As Hearts come again. Chesnikov worked it wide. Shankland beaten to it by Maida. Maida was brought down, and that's going to be a Celtic free kick. Well, Dyson Maida in more ways than one is helping Celtic over the line. I mean, what an impact he has made since the split. We mentioned it at the start of the match. 6 goals in his last 4. But it's lucky number 7, it seems, for Dyson Maida, that might have just delivered the title for Celtic on the final day of the season, in the final minutes of the season. I mean, every second that passes it gets ever smaller. Rod's up dancing. Rod Stewart clapping along with the already beginning celebrations at Celtic Park, but it's not done and dusted just yet. 2 minutes of added time remains. There's a free kick won there by Chesnikov. Chance for Hearts to ping one forward, to have another chance at it, another push for it. A draw is enough, but at the moment they're not getting that. At the moment Celtic are winning. Svolo. Long kick forward, out to the left channel. Header won by Celtic. Not very far did it go though. They clip it round the corner. That one will bounce. Stays in play, but it's stolen away and hooked up the field. As I said, anywhere will do for Celtic. Svolo, as Iheanacho chases, Svolo launches forward again. 90 seconds remaining. Bouncing ball. Chesnikov. Spittle finds Devlin. Clipped into the area, cleared away. Maida brings it down on the left. He clears. Didn't get much on that one though. McGregor trying to get in the way of his man. Now the referee's going to pull that back, and he's going to give McGregor a yellow card. Celtic doing everything they can to hold on, to keep a grasp of this. 1 minute less than that now. A free kick for Hearts in the Celtic half. In the final seconds. Blair Spittle with a free kick. Right footed. Swung in. Cleared away at the front post. Drops down. Shot blocked by Iheanacho. And the keeper's out of his net. And they're going to run it home. 3 there to run it into the net. And that is going to seal it. In the final seconds. It's 3-1 Celtic. And they're going to be the champions again. For the 5th time in a row. Celtic are going to win the title. Hearts scored first. But Celtic had all the response. They're going to flood the pitch. They took all the risk, Hearts. They put their goalkeeper up. But they were able to clear it, Celtic. And it was a clean route to the net from there on in. A 3rd goal. And as they flood the pitch, that is going to settle it. Callum Osmond is the one to find the nets. Hearts are going to be heartbroken. Celtic are going to be champions again. Tears are going to stream from all sides. Tears of joy for Celtic. Tears of heartache and pain for Hearts. Well, they flooded the pitch. I don't know whether the final whistle's gone or not. I don't actually know. But Dyson Maeda, he is the magic man. Well, it's a sour end of the game for Hearts, who are furious. Derek McInnes is being ushered into the tunnel by a police officer at the minute. That is how mad this game has gotten. They've flooded the pitch in what is a moment to remember. I don't think the final whistle has been blown. I think the players have been taken off the pitch because of the game. The pitch being flooded by Celtic fans. They're all taking selfies with the Celtic players, but the referee got this into check pretty quickly. Players off the pitch. And then we'll try and restore some order inside the stadium to see if they will play on or whether this will just be called to a finish. They're already celebrating. They're 3-1 up now, Celtic. The clock continues to tick along, but I think the referee has said that's it. I think that is done and dusted. I believe he has. The referee's called to an end of it. What a dramatic ending. It is finished here. For the first time in 100 years, this is a stat I've been holding on to. For the first time in 100 years, Celtic are the outright title winners in Scottish football history. Number 56 is theirs, and Martin O'Neill's rescue job is complete. Celtic are champions of Scotland for the 5th time in a row, and the 56th time overall. And for the first time since 1926, they lead that ratio to Rangers. Martin O'Neill and his heroics have once again delivered the title for Celtic. They're the champions, and they are going to celebrate long into the night. A season where they haven't been at their best. They've needed to fight and scrape for every single point. But 7 wins in the league in a row is one hell of a way to end the season, and one hell of a way to catapult you to champion status. Martin O'Neill, where do you want your statue? Because that is going to be built. Dyson Maeda might need one too. After his performance, 7 goals in 5 games. And the one that won it. The one that saw it home. The one that delivered it. This isn't just any old title. This is going to be a special one for Celtic. It's incredible. A moment. They were down and out for a long way of the season. But this run they've went on, they've needed a little bit of luck on the way. But what they've been able to do, like they've done 55 times before, is get the job done and deliver the title. Kelechi Iheanacho looks to the skies. His prayers have been answered. The Celtic prayers are answered. And Celtic are champions once again. Incredible, absolutely incredible ending to this game. We said we felt there was something dramatic to come. Well, Dyson Maeda had that wonderful moment with minutes remaining on the clock. Initially given as offside, but VAR quickly rectified that mistake and said, not a chance. That's a goal. And then Callum Osman delivered the third when Hearts threw everything at it, threw caution to the wind to try and snatch a late equaliser. They threw their goalkeeper up, but when that was cleared and Celtic had three charging towards the goal, it was Callum Osman who scores the third to put it to bed. An incredible, incredible ending to this one. Celtic are the champions once again. What an incredible final day at Celtic Park as the title is decided. And it's going to stay in Glasgow. And it's going to stay with Celtic. Thanks for your company for this one. It's been a great way to end the season in the Scottish Premiership. And we've got another huge game to come very shortly as the 2026 FA Cup Final is on the way very soon. Do join us for that shortly. But Celtic are the champions once again.